Welcome to the Crafting a Great Proposal webinar. I appreciate you taking the time to learn about the Emerging Technologies Initiative proposal process. ComEd really wants to encourage research proposal submissions from a wide variety of organizations with the goal of expanding energy savings opportunities for their customers. So with that in mind, I'll be presenting some perspective on how to craft a great emerging technologies proposal that'll give you the best chance of being selected for participation with ComEd under the Energy Efficiency Program. My name is Tim Sykota, and I work for ClearResult, who along with our partner Illum Advising helps the ComEd Research and Development team administer its Emerging Technologies Initiative. Odds are high that if you submit a proposal through our website, I'll be the first person to look at it. Here's a look at the webinar agenda. I'm going to give a brief overview of the Emerging Technologies Initiative, but for the most part, I'll focus specifically on what ComEd is looking for in proposals and ideas submitted for our review. I'll take some time at the end to go over some frequently asked questions. As a quick overview, the purpose of the Emerging Technologies Initiative is to find, research, and develop the next generation of technologies and program delivery strategies to help ComEd customers save energy in a cost-effective manner. Our objectives are not only new savings opportunities, but also lowering the cost per unit of energy saved for measures in ComEd's current portfolio. We care about advancement of regional innovation, non-energy benefits, community collaboration, and scalable approaches for low-income customers as well. We feel Northern Illinois is an ideal testing ground for energy efficiency research and development, and your ideas and proposals will help ComEd achieve that goal. You can find out more about our work, including upcoming events and our list of current and past projects at comedemergingtech.com. You can also sign up for regular email updates and create a profile to submit your own proposal. We accept proposals through our site on a rolling basis throughout the year. I strongly recommend reviewing the information on the site to get an understanding of the types of projects we're currently working on, as well as to help you frame your own ideas. A lot of the information presented in this webinar is in the development process section of the website as well. Now, on to what makes a great proposal. We like to think about proposals as being made up of two major components. A concept for achieving customer energy savings, that may be a new or underutilized technology or a program delivery innovation, and a plan that includes the research questions you propose to answer and how you're going to answer them in order to achieve a better understanding of that concept and its application to ComEd's portfolio. Concepts can come in several different forms, and different information may be already known for each concept. To help organize our thinking around research, we separate concepts into two categories, technologies and program designs. Technology concepts might be new tools or products that are still in laboratory testing, like propane refrigerant display cases that we're testing at NREL in Boulder, or field research conducted on technologies applied in a customer setting, like our affordable multifamily building that's testing passive house technologies here in Chicago. For those concepts, we're generally looking to establish savings characterizations for the technology, but we might also be looking at what customers think about it or whether there's a contractor network established to support the technology in our area. Program design concepts, on the other hand, are looking at testing new ways to deliver savings to customers. Program design projects we've conducted in the past include testing an implementation strategy for energy management information systems and looking at a variety of ways to engage more meaningfully and effectively with income-eligible customers. Whether your concept is a new technology or a new program design, we need you to help us understand what's currently known about that concept and what is unknown that you propose researching. Energy savings is the primary goal of ComEd's energy efficiency program, so a key item to describe in your proposal is your concept's mechanism for energy savings, by which we mean the specific way your concept saves electricity. For new technology, this would be information about the physics or mechanics of the technology that allows it to be more efficient than the existing baseline. For program design concepts, we need to know what measures or products that program would deliver to customers that save energy. For example, an income-eligible program design concept might offer energy-efficient light bulbs to customers in a new and innovative way. Another key item is your concept's novelty, which refers to whether ComEd already offers something like your concept as part of the energy efficiency program. We're always looking for novel concepts for ComEd's portfolio, but we're also interested in proposals that offer improvements on something that ComEd already offers. So we'll need you to help us understand what makes your concept unique for ComEd and worth researching. I recommend reviewing the offerings on ComEd's website or reaching out to us directly if you have any questions in this regard. If you don't have all the answers to these items, that's okay. We're available to talk to you about your concept and help you workshop it a bit if you need some support. Research and development projects are meant to help us investigate and answer questions about your concepts, particularly when it comes to market potential and expected energy savings. However, pay attention to your gaps in knowledge because your proposal should address how we're going to fill those gaps with a research project. In order to help you organize some of this key concept information, we've put together a document we call our pre-proposal questionnaire we like folks to fill out when getting started on an idea. If you can answer those questions, it will help us provide initial feedback on your concepts without you writing out a full proposal. That document is available on our website in the development process section. Now that we've talked about developing a great concept, let's talk about the second part of a great proposal, the research plan. Remember that we evaluate proposals based on the quality of two elements, the concept and the plan. Overall, the plan describes how you expect to go about answering the open questions about your concept. That involves defining your research questions and methods, developing tasks and deliverables, and aligning all of that to a budget that's appropriate for the work proposed. In simplest terms, your knowledge gaps translate to your research questions. If, for example, expected energy savings for your residential concept aren't established in ComEd's climate zone, you should plan to define a research question along the lines of, how much energy does this concept save in single-family homes in northern Illinois? The same is true of cost effectiveness, market potential, and other knowledge gaps you may have identified. Once you have your research questions, you can determine which research approaches are most appropriate to apply to your plan. We tend to think about 4 categories of research approaches: lab and field testing, market research, program design testing, and outreach strategy testing. Within those approaches, you should describe the research methods you propose, which may include some combination of things like literature reviews, market research, customer interviews, and on-site measurement and verification. Lab testing involves testing and measurement of energy savings in a controlled environment, such as this example from NREL. There's a number of tasks we would probably expect to see outlined from lab testing, including the creation and approval of a measurement and monitoring plan. The major difference between lab and field testing is the recruitment of customers at whose homes or businesses you plan to test your concept in a real-world scenario. We recommend paying special attention to this recruitment step, and ComEd is certainly willing to engage with you on the best ways by which to recruit those customers. Market research may describe investigations into market potential, customer types most appropriate for the technology, or the status of a contractor network. Most projects will involve at least some form of market research, whether it's customer surveys or interviews, analysis of usage data, or literature review. Program design testing applies to program design concepts, but even new technology concepts may have some form of program design testing to understand how a concept might fit into the broader energy efficiency portfolio. Program design often involves larger customer engagement than a field test. An outreach strategy test is meant to address barriers to implementation or customer access for already existing measures. Your outreach strategy proposal might involve working with a new kind of organization or delivering energy efficiency offerings through a new network. When it comes to defining your deliverables, you should think back to your research questions and figure out what an answer to them would look like. Some examples are here on the slide, including kWh of verified savings, customer recruitments, energy models, market potential estimates, and building inventories. Not every project will involve generation of verified energy savings for ComEd during the project, but it's always nice when they do. Our projects do always involve the development of a final report and/or presentation. We provide our project partners with templates to use for that reporting. Other deliverables might include the development of an interview guide or a measurement and verification plan. Something else to consider in writing your plan is some form of phasing. We often ask partners to complete initial market research for a concept to determine if the market potential is great enough for a field test or associated program design test. That helps to keep the size and budget with a proposal more manageable. Our proposal template is much more detailed than the pre-proposal questionnaire and contains even more proposal aspects than I've talked about in these slides. I recommend taking a look at the document on our website, also available in the development process section. While not every item needs to make it into your proposal, it's a good way to organize it into its component parts, the concept and the plan. Both of these documents may be submitted through our online portal. Before we get to questions, I'll talk through our proposal review process. As I mentioned before, our online portal is always open for proposal submissions, and we love getting emails at emergingtech@conmed.com with pre-proposals, full proposals, or even just questions. Typically, there's some back and forth to clarify proposals before the emerging technology team conducts its formal interview of proposals, mostly via email, though we may set up a phone call if needed. We make decisions on proposals on a quarterly basis to streamline our planning. I recommend submitting your proposal as close to the beginning of a quarter as possible in order to give enough time for us to collect appropriate information to make a decision. When it comes to confidentiality, you should feel comfortable providing information to ComEd to evaluate your proposal without fear of harming your market competitiveness or infringing on your intellectual property. The Emerging Technologies team does not share submitted proposals beyond the internal team and others at ComEd with a stakeholder interest. ComEd, ClearResult, and Illume have agreements making clear that we will never share proposal information with anyone outside of the immediate Emerging Technologies team at ClearResult or Illume or the Energy Efficiency Department at ComEd. However, you should not submit confidential information as part of your proposal. If your proposal involves material protected by your own intellectual property rights, you must clearly identify it with a statement at the beginning of your submission and indicate it as such throughout the proposal. I'm going to cruise through these 3 slides as they shouldn't impact your proposal writing, but I did want to show the criteria by which the Emerging Technologies team evaluates proposals. There are 16 criteria across 3 categories. The first category relates to the quality of the concept, including novelty and non-incrementality, expected energy savings, ease of adoption for customers, and non-energy benefits. The second category relates to the potential impact of the concept on the ComEd portfolio, including potential market share, speed to market, cost effectiveness, and alignment with special strategies. The third category relates to the quality of the plan you've submitted, including its delivery strategy, budget right-sizing, relevance of expertise, stated goals and objectives, research and measurement plan, scope, and allocation of resources. To be clear, we don't often have full information on all of these criteria when evaluating. Like the proposal template, our evaluation is meant to identify gaps in areas we want to figure out when it comes time to scope out and implement a project. I wanted to take some time at the end before questions to talk a little bit about why we're excited to work with you on an emerging technologies project. ComEd has one of the largest emerging technologies initiatives in the nation, and we feel confident in our ability to provide the resources required to answer the right questions about your concept. ComEd's service territory spans urban, suburban, and rural areas, as well as 4 distinct seasons, which makes it an ideal location for in-depth and involved field testing. Our wide range of projects seek benefits across ComEd's market segments. In the past year or so, we've undertaken a particular focus on income-eligible customers, but we also conduct projects with benefits for industrial, commercial, and general residential customers. Finally, our extensive network of partners from small outreach groups to large national labs demonstrates our commitment to pursuing good projects, no matter the submitter. Finally, here's our contact information. Absolutely reach out with any questions we don't answer here. Now, some frequently asked questions. Is the Emerging Technologies team interested in ideas related to demand response or load shifting? Because this initiative is part of the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program, the primary purpose of the idea must be energy savings. We understand that some concepts may include aspects of load shifting as part of their overall effects, but as long as efficiency is the primary driver, we'll consider the proposal. How much funding is available for my proposal if accepted? We don't have a preset amount of budget for any type of project. we want to fund projects sufficiently to answer the research questions set out for the concept. A smaller research project might have a budget in the tens of thousands, while a larger scale field study or program design pilot may have a budget in the hundreds of thousands. I recommend paying close attention to your proposed budget to ensure it's sufficient to answer the questions that need answering. If my company gets funded to run a pilot, does that mean we might get to extend it into a new program in ComEd's portfolio? ComEd sees the execution of emerging technologies projects as discrete and separate from their core portfolio of programs. They use the lessons learned from pilot research to inform the portfolio, whether it's adding a new measure or improving delivery of a program. But once an emerging technologies project is finished, there isn't usually a need to extend the work into something long-term. What's ClearResult's role in the Emerging Technologies Initiative? As I mentioned at the beginning, we are the implementation contractor for ComEd's Emerging Technologies Initiative. We work closely with ComEd to conduct these projects. If your proposal is selected, it is almost certain that you will contract it directly with ClearResult, not ComEd, to carry out the project. However, I do want to make clear that ComEd staff sees every proposal. ClearResult doesn't pre-screen any submissions. How can I find out what energy efficiency measures are already part of ComEd's portfolio? A good resource would be the website of the Illinois Energy Efficiency Stakeholder Advisory Group, ilsag.info. ComEd is required to file public reports on its energy efficiency portfolio, and the SAG is a repository of this information. There's a link to ComEd's most recent filing with the Illinois Commerce Commission on this slide. That's all from me on the webinar. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope to see your proposal soon.